So I'm just gonna hide on site.
Okay.
All I need to do, stream, is hold. He just TP'd on B. All I need to do is look at the stairs, really.
I'm coming from B main, I can flash for you.
Because I will be here. I'll hear him drop, so all I need to do is kill him on the stairs. One frag position we call that stream. So generally when you're in 1v2s and stuff, if you're not playing with your teammate, get yourself into a one frag position, which means a position where you think you're definitely going to get the kill. And so what I did was position myself there. I don't have to worry about laying because I'll hear him drop, and all I have to do is watch the stairs for him to come onto the site.
There aren't a lot of rules in Valorant because of its dynamic nature. It's not something you can necessarily flowchart, but there are good rules of thumb like the stairs rule that Boaster is describing. It's a very specific rule which requires certain conditions to be met before it can be properly implemented. In this case, a 2v1 or 1v1 post-plant scenario. When a defender is retaking B, there are two options for them: retaking from stairs or lane. Lane gives you guaranteed information in the form of an audio cue, and stairs does not. Therefore, by looking stairs, you put yourself in a position that allows you to monitor both areas, increasing your odds of winning dramatically. In today's video, we're going to break down some big brain Omen plays from various pros so we can learn from them and capitalize on key attacking and defending moments like this one. I'm Chill, and let's get into it. In our first clip, we have Xander attacking on pistol round as Omen.
Ooh, I'm smoking bottom mid.
So the reason Xander throws this smoke in mid is to make the defenders think that they're going to take some mid control and maybe walk up cat and go A. As you can see here, the Sova actually ends up throwing a dart into the back of B site to reveal anyone playing on site, and spams through the wall with a sheriff. They are showing presence here as well as mid, but the defenders still have to respect the fact that they could be taking some mid control. Now this is important. Xander only has one smoke for the hit, so does he decide to smoke CT or does he decide to smoke market? Which smoke in this scenario would you think is actually better?
Ready? I'll smoke CT, no market smoke, okay? I'm blinding up.
So Xander comms to his team that he has no market smoke and decides to smoke CT. The reason for this is because the Jet can actually dash onto site and hit the switch, which closes the door for market. So it's kind of just unnecessary to use a smoke in market when you have a door there already. So if you have one smoke, it's generally better to smoke CT over market.
I'm blinding out. Oh, I'm not blinding anything. I shouldn't have blinded that. That was really bad.
So as you saw from the clip, Xander actually wanted to blind all of this area because it hits lane, switch, and stairs. It's actually a very good blind. But instead, he opted to blind market instead. So you actually hear him say after that was a bad blind and wasn't really doing anything. And the reason he's saying that is because if the door is closed and he's flashing market, there's no follow-up there. So he actually just wasted 300 credits there and didn't get any use out of it. So instead, he probably should have just saved the blind for post-plant or maybe get that blind off a little bit sooner. But that's because the Jet went out a little bit too early.
I have one way. Do you want to play up with Killjoy? No, just play back actually. I'm one way in stairs in a second.
Enemy defender spy.
Reloading. I saw you there.
Scanning ahead.
One enemy remaining.
So once they're on site, Xander has this really nice one-way that prevents the CT defenders from coming out and retaking from stairs. And if they cross and try to go lane, he can actually see them and they can't see him. So this one-way is really good in the post plant, and I definitely recommend it.
Cover going out.
How are the plane tickets to Iowa expensive? Who the f wants to go to Iowa? They should be paying you to get on that plane.
Now, Derek makes a lot of good points about Iowa here that I'm inclined to agree with. If you're from Iowa, that's unfortunate, and I'm sorry. So Derek starts on A site, which is pretty typical for Omen players on defense. So real quick, let's go over a few reasons why it's good to play Omen on A site. So the first is this passive position behind dice, which is good for a number of reasons. But first, it's good if you need to get out in a pinch and teleport up into heaven. All you have to do is aim at this corner of the metal area up there and TP. And then you land back into safety here, away from the trouble. The next part about dice is that if you think an enemy is going to be rushing A, you want to make sure that you actually have a teammate that's playing in tree. That way they can spot if anyone is pushing out here. And when they do, you look at your minimap and then you just flash all of this and it covers the entire majority of this area. You can also use this site smoke that goes right in between dice and gen. And this smoke is great because you can play in it like this if anyone pushes you, or you can play around it and isolate some angles here. This smoke is also great from retaking from heaven as it blocks all of A main. You can also TP into the smoke if you want, but it's a little bit risky as an attacker could be using your smoke to their advantage. Another great position you can play as Omen is up on Shroud here. You just want to make sure that you have a teammate again to spot anything that's coming through A main, like Recon or maybe Reyna's flash. You want to make sure that they break it and not you, so the enemy doesn't know where you are. Next, we have a more active position or more aggressive position with this one-way. When you place this one-way, you actually want to position it more to the right and under the green arrow until it's about to disappear.
Shadows traveling.
The reason for this is it actually blocks right behind the smoke here, and if you position it a little bit too high, they might be able to see you if they crouch under the smoke. So you want to make sure you place that one-way properly. Last, you have this play that allows you to knife out into wine undetected because there's so much noise happening, so they're really not going to hear you move into that position. Blinding A main here is insanely good because it covers the entire A main stretch, as you can see right here. Like in the other positions, you want to make sure that you do have a teammate to help you out here with either a flash or baiting for you so that you can get this flash off.
Blinding.
Okay, back to the clip.
Droning.
They smoked up, yeah, I think they're going through.
Shadows traveling.
So Derek hears a drone and decides to throw this sight smoke that I talked about earlier. The reason that he throws it so early is because the jet could dash out here, and if he has a smoke in his hands when the jet dashes out, then he's in big trouble. So he wants to get that smoke down right away, and if the Sova is droning, he also wants to have a position that he can play in to avoid getting detected.
They can walk through that door, careful. Okay, 105 back. 105 KJ. Jen.
So after Derek breaks a dart on the wall, he peeks out and tries to get a few shots in before moving back into cover in his smoke. He wants to constantly reposition here to make it difficult for the enemies to understand where he is on site. So after Derek gets that kill, he goes back into smoke because he realizes that his jet just got taken out by the Killjoy. His jet was playing behind Jen, so he has to be careful of someone walking up through the back of Jen and surprising him backside. That's why he decides to position himself in the smoke to see what happens and get some minimap information from his other teammate.
Jen, 105.
And just like that, Derek dismantles the entire attack nearly by himself. It's great awareness and positioning from Derek there. So our next clip comes from Asuna playing Omen on Ascent defense. They're on an eco round right now, so they're gonna need to get a little bit creative in order to win this round.
Shadows traveling.
Enemy spotted A.
Cover going out.
Asuna sees his Raze in a tough spot here behind boxes, so he decides to throw this smoke to give them an option or a way out.
Cover going out.
The Neon decides to slide into Asuna's DMs, but he blocks him with a nasty sheriff shot. Asuna then TPs out of that smoke and into the right corner of Graffiti, and the reason he does this is because he's expecting a second enemy to swing and trade his Neon. It's always good practice to expect a second enemy to swing after a teammate to trade them. And of course, the second TP here is just to make sure that he can pick up the Vandal that the enemy dropped without exposing himself to sewers. Remember, even if the second TP seems a little bit unnecessary, a 2900 credit Vandal is always worth more than a 200 credit TP. And saving 200 credits is not worth your life.
Enemy spotted A.
I know exactly where.
Asuna hears some shots long, so he tries to reposition as quickly as he can before the Cypher ult comes in to get a pick on the enemies that are exiting and rotating out of A. Unfortunately, he does get pinged right before the enemies enter A lobby, so he decides to use a blind to help him get the 2 kills.
Spike planted.
When you have a numbers advantage like this, for example a 3v2, you want to make sure that you group with at least one of your teammates here in order to secure the round. Asuna smokes the bomb for Xander, and Xander says that he's gonna stick the bomb because they're in a pretty safe position here, and when you're smoked off from long, it's pretty good to just stick in general. Asuna sees the bullet tracers coming from behind the smoke in long, so he has a good idea of where the enemy Omen is positioned. So fun fact, did you know that you could see the Vandal's tracers through the smoke, but the Phantom, you cannot. You actually can't see the Phantom spray coming through the smoke. That makes it much harder for me to see where the Omen is actually positioned behind the smoke. But with the Vandal, the fact that I can see the tracers makes it much more likely that I get the kill on the Omen based on where the tracers are coming from. One of the many reasons that the Phantom is superior to the Vandal. I might be biased, but I'm right. Moving on. Finally, we have Sam on Sunset playing on defense. This is just after they won the first round and now they're on an anti-eco. So they most likely are going to have better weapons against the attacking team.
Riding on the fort. Yes. Yes, I can. EDG.
Sam starts off the round by presetting this interesting one-way smoke in A main. The purpose of this smoke is to take control of A main and get a little bit aggressive in the anti-eco round. Before we get any further in the clip, let's talk about this smoke and why he's doing it this way. So Sam is positioning the smoke sitting a little bit higher than the double stack, and there's a good reason for this. So if you ever decide to use a one-way smoke like this that sits on a normal double stack, you want to make sure as Omen you position it a little bit higher than this green triangle, and it'll always sink down on top of that area. If you position the orb below the green triangle, it's going to sit lower on the double stack. So if you compare a smoke that Sam throws to a smoke that would land a little bit further down underneath the green arrow, you can see a little bit of a difference here. So this is the smoke that Sam throws. You can see some feet there, and there's this little gap underneath. And when you compare it to a smoke where the orb is placed underneath the green triangle, sitting right on top of the stack, there's a lot less area that you can see. There's no gap here, and now there's this little area that'll effectively diminish the benefits of the one-way. I'm gonna skip ahead in the clip a little bit because they're kind of just waiting to see what the enemy's gonna do, and Sam is gonna be holding out his blind to flash off of the Raze's contact. He's essentially just waiting for his Raze to call the flash, or for his Raze to see someone, and then Sam will spot them on the minimap and flash. So I'm actually really glad that Sam brought up the mega map here, because it shows that the Omen blind is covering the entire lane that the attackers need to push up to, effectively blinding everyone that moves through there. It's very similar to that one that I showed you on Ascent in Y. If the enemies do get blinded here, they're going to be forced to retreat back behind the one-way, and when that happens, the Raze and the Omen can take control of this A main area and re-smoke this one-way, forcing the attackers to use utility or just dry swing through the one-way. So let's see how that plays out.
Oh shit, wait, what? Alright, let's swing, bro.
So real quick, now that Sam has flashed the enemies and they've retreated, he feels safe enough where he can pull out his smoke and re-smoke the one-way.
One enemy remaining.
And as you can see here, the Omen is perfectly one-wayed, giving Sam the upper hand in the gunfight. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like and let me know in the comments what you'd like to see from me in the future. Subscribe for more videos like that one and check out this one next for more. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.